Hello, fellow traders. 'Tis I, TheRumpledOne. Friday, February the 1st, the year 2019. Let's talk trading. Ooh, I got a misspelling there. Might as well just fix it right here. We got the weekly wrap up, and it's NFP day. I hope you guys have enjoyed NFP day. If you used your horizontal lines, it should have been profitable. And no matter what, even if the trade went against you, so long as you had your money and risk management in place, it was no big deal. So let's take a look here on the weekly. Oh, the pound dollar didn't fill. But you can see here we broke out of the previous week's high. Right now we're 19 pips above, but we're 23 pips off the high. So that's about 42 pips to be made there. And the big news is we are maintaining above that weekly, the yearly open at 125.39. Presently, we're at 51. We are maintaining. Now, this is going to be really interesting. You see here, this was the Monday high and low. You see how we broke out of the low, and then we rocketed out of the high. This is the first day of the month. You can see here, we had a low of 124.35 and a high of 125.72. Once again, we've put in quite the day for the first day of the month. And you can see right here, we have to update this chart. Plot by date. And now we are going to be 2019-0201. You see, we changed it. And now we're above 2. First day of the month opens. Now here, also need to change this. And I could have done this ahead of time, but some people always like to see me do it so they can see how to do it right there on their screen. And so, of course, right now we're putting in the high and the low for the day. Still within the high and low for day one, but not by much. We might break out of that. What a week, right? Once again, we had that inside bar on Monday, and you can see here how we broke out of both sides today. I hope somebody took advantage of that. I really hope they did. Now you see here, we're going to have an outside bar. So that's going to be interesting for next week's trading, right? Once again, 137 pip range. You got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pairs over 100 on NFP day. And remember, once again, on NFP day, it's really not hard to trade. Just look at the previous day's candle and you see these levels. You also might want to include the midpoint or pivot and just trade those horizontal line crosses. You can see here, there was the monthly holo at 67, and we're now down below it for the past couple of hours. Just to let you know, let me show you something here. I was looking at this chart, and I noticed this big candle here, right here, and I'm thinking this candle needs to get filled. You know, the return candle, that price needs to return somewhere around here. I could be wrong, but that's just what I am thinking. I see those big candles. I think price will return. Once again, we had the pivot about 12 pips No, we had the pivot, 22 pips above the open, so we definitely had a bias. So we were ignoring the short trades, taking the long trades here. And as you can see, it did hit the pivot, filled it. It's below the weekly open. We shot through the weekly open. And at the moment, we're looking at a future pivot point of 125.19. And Larry live trade, you can see here, red rats going short at 25.53 or above. Once again, we took out the pivot. And you see we still have missed pivots from last year and this year. And we are so far away from those pivots, I don't know what's going to happen. We got a whole year to find out, though, right? But we just keep track. Oh, and by the way, there was a trader that contacted me and wanted to send me an indicator and said something in effect that I guess he wanted me to run stats on it. So sure, go ahead. I'll take a look at it. I can't promise you anything. I am so behind being, you know, ill last week, knocked me way off my schedule. It's already February, and I haven't even done batch one of the 2019 donational. So I've got a lot of work on my plate. Price action, three ball at the top, red at the line. What can I say? It happens every day, right? In and out of the wick zone. I mean, right here, you came in, took the long at 28, and you should never look back. And my chart, daily, weekly, open. I'm sorry, daily, weekly, monthly, the previous, open, high, and low. Just trading the horizontal lines at the cross. It's not that difficult. You can see here we moved up about 4 or 5 pips. But most of the action has been over. But you can see here the Einstein line once again gave one signal and up just a couple of pips. Nothing that difficult. I spoke a little yesterday. On a few things. And I guess sometimes it's really easy to be misunderstood. Partially because people come to the table with a belief system. And if what you're presenting runs counter to that belief system, it's hard for them to hear it. Because they can't seem to put their belief system off to the side. It's really tough. I mean, it's so hard to communicate through a belief system. A person has to be willing to suspend their belief. And the person has to be willing to give up their belief when presented with facts. But you know how hard that is. And one of the things when I was talking about, amateurs versus professionals earlier in the week, professionals usually don't look for shortcuts. If there's a 500-page book to read, they'll read it. Whereas the amateur is going to want, hey man, can't you just tell me what it's all about? Can't you just give it to me in 25 words or less? Amateurs just aren't willing to put in the deep work necessary. I mean, You can see it in many aspects of life. Diet pills. You know, good health is so simple. It's usually, eat less, move more. I mean, there's nothing more to it. Eat good food, not crappy food. It's not difficult. I mean, if you drive, you don't put crappy gas in your car because you don't want it sputtering. Well, it's the same with your body. Why would you put crappy food in your body if it's going to cause your body to sputter? It just doesn't make sense now, does it? And exercise, we all know we need to do it, yet we don't. Just like money management. Professional traders would never put a trade on without having that money management in place. They get out their little checklist or they run it through their program. It tells them exactly what position size and exactly where the stop is. They put the trade on and they sit back. You know, and that's another thing. I have traders contacting me and asking me about trades and what they should have done. That's all hairy hindsight. I mean, right here, you can look at this chart. If you had taken this trade, would you still be in it or would you have been out of it? I mean, really, if you're in this trade, would you get out right now or would you ride? And why? Well, let's assume you're in the trade long here. So as you can see, it's already moved back 2 pips against you, and you're up about a pip and a half. I mean, you could say, well, right here, it already bounced this level once. So if it cracks that level, I'll scratch the trade and take a pip. But if it doesn't close below that level on the M1, I'll stay in the trade. So you look right here and you wait and see what happens. But I mean, you should already have a plan in place before you get in the trade. Maybe you take half off at +5 or +3. Or maybe you move the break even up to break even +1 and just see what happens. Sometimes you give back a couple of pips. Sometimes you might give back 5, 7 pips. But on the other hand, if you're up 10 pips and all of a sudden you're up 9, you're up 8, you're up 7, price is going against you. What are you waiting for? Are you afraid to take that profit off the table? Are you doing a FOMO, fear of missing out? Oh, well, if I take it off, it'll turn right around and zoom up. You don't know that. So you have to trade what you see. So, anyway, for the week, I hope you've had a really good week. We can see here once again how price broke out of the first day of the week level. And once again, all but one gap filled. The pound yen didn't fill it. Maybe we'll take a quick look, see what it looked like. And it missed that by what? We had a high of 32,104, and we had a close 32.21. Okay, that's it.